Hello and welcome back to Down the Track, and the cricketing action continues. Yesterday we had two really entertaining games. One was the Under 19 World Cup quarterfinal between South Africa and England, and the night game was West Indies and England T20 match, the third T20. What an entertaining match! Let's begin with that. West Indies posting 224 for 9, England posting 224 for 5, and England posting 204 for 9, losing by 20 runs. But it was the Rodman Powell show. What an outstanding 100. Brutal innings there. He was smashing it to all parts of the ground in Barbados. Some sixes into the stand, some sixes into the beach. It was ruthless power hitting and well supported by Nicholas Puran. It was really good to see Nicholas Puran after such a long time perform like this. I mean, he's such a talented batsman, and he's been underperforming the last couple of years, whether it's the IPL, whether it's for West Indies in the World Cup. He just hasn't got that spark which he actually has, but he hasn't produced. He hasn't shown consistency, but a very good innings there. He supported Powell, and Powell just took off yesterday. It was an outstanding innings. Uh, class 107 of 53 balls, 10 sixes and 4 fours, and he put England in under tremendous pressure. It was an outstanding innings. His auction price will be skyrocketing now with Robin Powell. A lot of teams will be looking at him because he has shown in the past like that he can hit the ball, but to play a big innings like this, score 100, it always catches the eye. And I know it's like a very common to say, okay, now is everyone's going to look at him, but it's true. Like a lot of IPL teams will be in for him in the auction, and they'll definitely keep an eye out for this man. He has tremendous power. Shot selection is really good. He's strong through the offside and leg side. That's very important. It's not just like he was playing on the leg side. He can hit it straight. He can hit it on the offside. He can hit it on the leg side as well. And when you have power like that, it's just incredible. And the way the West Indies play, it's similar to the England template of just smashing it from ball one, but the crazy thing is that they're getting replacements now. You talked about Chris Gale coming towards the end of his career. Pollard is still captain, but he has a few years left. Russell is in and out of the team. Dwayne Bravo is towards the end of his career. So there's people leaving, but there's people coming, and the template is the same, right? The template is smash the ball. If you can have an innings like that, the way Powell played, incredible. That's how you play T20 cricket. It's high risk cricket, but West Indies have shown, and so have England, that on pitches like these, the system works. And if you just look at England, it's the same thing. Yes, they lost the game, but a very similar kind of template. Tom Banton, he's coming in. Normally, it's Jason Roy and Butler, or Jason Roy and Bairstow opening, but it was Tom Banton, 73 of 39 balls, 6 sixes, 3 fours. So the template is the same. Go from ball one, play attacking cricket, and on pitches like these, you will get rewarded. Yes, in the UAE, both these teams, I mean, England did reach the semifinals, but West Indies did struggle. But that's a one-off case. I think pitches there were already slow, and where especially after the IPL, it was difficult to play on those kind of pitches. But on regular pitches, I think, especially good batting pitches, this is the template. I think in T20 cricket, both these teams have shown, with players missing. Right, there's no Johnny Bairstow, there's no Ben Stokes in this, there's no Andre Russell here. There's no Chris Gale, but the template is the same. The way these two teams play T20 cricket is very similar, and it is very effective because yes, England lost by 20 runs, but they got to 200. It's not like they lost by 60, 70, got all out for 150. They actually went for the score, and Tom Banton's innings really helped them with that. And then Phil Salt came in; he hit 57 of 24 as well. Just when you thought that it's all over for England, Phil Salt comes in, plays a cameo as well at a strike rate of 237. So incredible batsmanship, I think, all around yesterday. A very, very entertaining game, and in the end, it was West Indies who won. They lead the series now 2-1. Very entertaining series, and I think the pitch as well. Sometimes it's good to see high-scoring matches. Sometimes you want to see a contest between bat and ball, but these kind of games are also entertaining. So I think the crowd won't be complaining about that. Rodman Powell, man of the match, strike rate of 201.88. Incredible knock, man. He hit 10 sixes. It's just ridiculous the way he was smashing it. From England's bowling point of view, I think Reece Topley was the most impressive. His economy was 7.5. Everyone else was going 13, 14 runs and over. Look at Garton, economy of 14.25. Tymal Mills, 13. Liam Livingstone, 14. Moeen Ali, 14. Adil Rashid went for 6.25. So him and Topley were the best bowlers. Adil Rashid, like, he has the variations, bowls the googly well as well. He bowled pretty well, and Reece Topley has been very impressive. That left arm, he has the height as well to trouble the batsman. I think he's really going to be England's bowler, in the future. Probably in all formats, but in T20 and one day for sure, because he gets that different angle and he does cause problems for the right hander. He gets that extra bounce as well. So I think Reece Topley is definitely a one for the future. Yusuf Ismail, my brother, is saying Ravman Powell showed his ability. So why are his stats so poor? Average of around 17 T20. I think it's the way he plays, right? He doesn't stick around. Even the commentators were saying that normally he comes in, he hits a few sixes and gets out. But yesterday he actually, stayed there till the end. He kept hitting those sixes, and he got good support from Puran as well. That takes the pressure off the batsman. When you have a batsman at the other end hitting sixes as well, then you're not worried. The onus is not just on you. So I think he was kind of under the limelight. The limelight was on Puran. He was hitting the sixes, and then Robin Powell was doing his bit on the other end. And then when Puran got out, Powell was already set, right? He was already set, and he just extended. But I think to answer your question, it's because the way he plays, he tries to hit from ball one. That's why his average is not that high. But I think this innings will give him a lot of a lot of confidence in how to build an innings, and definitely I think you'll see better innings from now on. Of course, the way West Indies do play T20 cricket, averages won't be something that they look at, because they just hit from ball one. So sometimes it'll go, sometimes it won't. Sometimes Powell will hit 100, sometimes it'll be Puran. It'll keep changing, but their template is to attack from ball one, and that's why they've been successful. And but I think he will need to show some maturity now. He's what, 28, 29. He'll want to score more innings like these, play innings like this, and really help West Indies, because sometimes a cameo of 10 of 3 balls doesn't really help. So I think he'll want to play the bigger innings. But in T20 cricket, if you can hit those 4, 5, 6s, he bats also 2, 3 down. Normally he bats even lower down the order, but because you have like the likes of Russell and Hetmeyer, but those guys are missing in this tournament, in this series. So that's why he was promoted to number 4. Then he probably took more responsibility and then played a good innings as well. So maybe that's the reason. But yeah, definitely we'll want to see an increase in average over there. But yeah, overall a great performance from the West Indies, and they're leading the series 2-1. It's a very entertaining series, and let's see what happens in the next game. Moving on to the Under-19 World Cup. England have qualified for the semi-finals. Big news for them. Outstanding performance. I was actually backing South Africa to win because they have a great batsman in Dewald Brevis. He's the next AB de Villiers. That man can smash it. He can play, rotate the strike. He has control over his batting. That's the main thing. It's not just that he has an AB de Villiers style, which he does, but he has control over his batting. He knows which shot to hit when, and which bowler to target, where to rotate the strike, when to play the dot ball. He has total control. Unfortunately, he did not get the support yesterday. It was just him. He scored 97 runs, missed out on 100, deserved 100. He's been brilliant this series, 450s and 100 for South Africa Under-19, but unfortunately wasn't enough. Honestly, when you saw his not post-match, the mid-break interview, he was confident that 200 would be enough, but England had other thoughts. But let's just talk more about that first innings. It was the Dewald Brevis showed the way he batted 97 of 88 balls, 9 fours, 4 sixes, and they looked on course 250 plus. But then it was Rehan Ahmed. England have only played him one game before this in this tournament. He came in and picked up 4 wickets for just 48 runs in his 10 overs. He turned the game completely for England in their favor, and it shows what leg spinners can do, right? They're match winners. They pick up wickets, they slow down the rate. He did get hit for a few sixes from Brevis himself, but then he was picking up wickets on the other end. People tried to attack him, and it didn't work. We saw the South African batsmen losing their patience against Rehan, and they tried to go for those sixes, and they got out. And that completely changed the momentum in the game. From 120 for 2, they went 140 for 6, 150 for 7. So that spell of Rehan Ahmed just completely changed the game in England's favor, and he'd set the game up for them. Even then, I thought that it might be a competitive game, but in came Jacob Bethell. He came in with George Thomas. They opened the batting, and he smashed 88 of 42 balls, a strike rate of 209. One of the most destructive innings in this Under-19 World Cup. He bulldozed past South Africa. smashing it to all points, and similar to that Powell innings, but in a different way. These guys are still kids, but it was an outstanding innings, and it's good to see that the England under 19 team have a similar template to their senior team, which has changed in the last 3-4 years under Morgan, and it's good to see the under 19 replicating that in somewhat. Of course, you don't want to make those comparisons so early, but there is a similarity there in the way they approach their innings, because 200 was a competitive kind of score. It was a slowish wicket. There was something in it for the spinners, as Ryan Ahmed showed, but Bethel was having none of it. He was smashing it to all parts. So 16 fours and 2 6s, so a bit opposite to Powell's innings, but very, very effective. And now England under 19, they'll have a lot of confidence going into the semi-finals, because they're beating a team like South Africa, who have a very good bowling attack and a good batsman in Brevis. Yusuf is saying, Dawal Brevis, you are a huge admirer, and having said he's the next AB, many people have that opinion. Do you think they are right? Can he fulfill his potential? Yeah, I think he can, because it's not just the way he hits those shots like AB de Villiers, it's the control that he has in his batting. He knows when to play the dot ball, he knows when to take the single, he knows when to hit the boundaries. If you saw the early part of his innings, his strike rate was, I think, 50. He was 25 or 50 deliveries, and then he accelerated, and his strike rate ended with the plus 100. So it's when to attack, when not to attack, and throughout his innings there was wickets falling on the other end. It didn't perturb him, right? In the beginning 2 wickets went, but he continued to play dot balls, and he took that pressure. Then when wickets were falling the other end, he was hitting sixes as well. So he has different facets to his game. He can accelerate when he wants to. He can be sensible when he wants to, rotate the strike as well. And he kept trusting his partner, whether it was a number 8 or a number 2. He kept trusting his partner with a single double. He wasn't too phased, and he never looked phased. Even when he got out, it was just like, he was trying to hit it. He never looked like the bowler trying to trouble him. Out of all these other batsmen, he looked the most comfortable. Yes, maybe he didn't get 100, but he scored 450s, and he got 100 and 450s. He could have easily had 300s in this tournament. Got out on 97 yesterday and 96 before that. So the control that he's shown is much more than any other under 19 player. I think one of the journalists had also tweeted that this has been the most controlled performance by a batsman in any under 19 tournament ever. And I agree with that. I think before this, I really liked the Unmuk Chand innings in the final, but this was another level. Not just this innings, the way he's played throughout the tournament, he's looked like a cut above. They might fast track him, but of course, the international level, it does take time. So don't expect him to suddenly take over. It'll take a few years, I think a good 4 or 5 years for him, because, he's playing someone like a Boyden who's his age, playing for England, and then he'll come up against a Bumrah who's 10 years older to him, who has extra pace and everything. So it will be a different kind of transition. You have to be patient with him, but he definitely has the talent. He looks a cut above the rest in terms of under 19 talent, for sure. And like I said, shots do look like AB de Villiers, but also the control, and he knows when to attack, when not to attack. But then you have Jacob Bethel as well. The way he played, like it was match winning, and also he got the support, right. First it was George Thomas, then William Luxton. They all chipped in for England. It wasn't just Bethel who was hitting, whereas for South Africa it was only Brevis. He didn't get support, but that Bethel knock was similar to a Jason Roy or a Butler kind of innings in terms of strike rate and acceleration. It was a great innings, and South African bowlers never looked to disturb them. Brevis himself, he bowls as well, so he picked up 2 wickets, the highest wicket taker for South Africa. And he does have a bright future, but England will be extremely happy. They're taking up that template that the senior team has left for them, and it's working now. And suddenly they look like in contention for this World Cup. A lot of people were saying South Africa will probably make the semis, but England haven't really lost a game in this tournament so far. They've looked very impressive, discipline in the field as well, and I think it's going to be a tough task for anyone to beat them. But in the semifinals, anything can happen. So we'll wait to see who they play, and I think till then, the other matches are going on. There's going to be Pakistan versus Australia. Pakistan, for me, are favorites in that game. Then there is Sri Lanka, Afghanistan. Sri Lanka are favorites for me in that game. Then India, Bangladesh, repeat of the final. India do look favorites, but Bangladesh have beaten them in the final last time, so they'll have to be a bit wary. It might be closer than we think, but yeah, let's see how that goes. It's going to be a fun few quarterfinals, and hopefully a good semifinals as well. looking forward to it. We have plenty of cricket action. There's PSL as well today. The first game, it's Multan Sultans versus the Karachi Kings. Babar Azam versus Mohammad Rizwan. It's going to be a fun game. Hopefully, a good start to the PSL. Some plenty of talent over there to look out for. Pakistan had, four people. Three guys winning ICC awards, so they'll all be on display during the PSL. And the quality of batting has also improved in the PSL, especially Pakistani batsmen, the likes of Rizwan, Babar Azam. Then you're going to see someone like Azam Khan, Moin Khan's son. He's someone who's destructive. Asif Ali as well. He's a destructive batsman. You have the experience of Shoaib Malik and Mohammad Hafiz, of course. Shahid Afridi will be playing. So there's plenty of talent to look out for. Hasnain and Naseem Shah are two very exciting quick bowlers who will be bowling in tandem, and they might be the future of Pakistan cricket in any format. So it's going to be a good tournament to look out for. Excited for this game. Multan, I'll edge them as slight favorites in this match, just because I think not only are they defending champions, just the overall squad, their batting and bowling is kind of balanced. Karachi do have some inexperienced players, but then they have Babar Azam there at the front. So it won't be as easy for Multan, but they're slight favorites going into this game. And then we have the Indian squad announcement as well. The one day and T20 squad has come out. We'll discuss that further as well. Hopefully, I'll get my co-host Abrar Aziz on that. But the big news is that Virat Kohli is playing both formats. He's going to play the T20s and one days under captain Rohit Sharma, who is declared fit, and he will be leading the side in both the formats. Deepak Huda has made the one day squad, which is very, very surprising. Kuldeep Yadav has also made the one day squad. When it comes to T20, Ravi Bishnoi is there, and there's some surprising picks and some expected picks as well. No Ashwin. First they said he was injured, but then there was no claim that he was injured or anything, so he might be dropped. There's no Bhuvneshwar Kumar in the one days, but I think they're still sticking around in the T20s for him, so that's very interesting. But good to see Avesh Khan getting a pick in both formats. I think he's a very impressive bowler. He bowled really well in the IPL. But as we saw with Venkatesh Iyer, there's a huge transition between IPL and international cricket. Even if you're playing a weekend South African team, or if you're playing Sri Lanka, or if you're playing West Indies, it doesn't matter. It is always a bigger challenge compared to IPL. It's just it could be conditions. It's just also the level of cricket. These guys are experienced players, and IPL, you also have a lot of domestic players because each team has 7 Indians. A lot of domestic players, so the level is a bit different to an international level, where you have the creme de la creme of each country. So there is a difference there, and I think Avesh Khan will also soon realize that. But these are the series where you blood in the youngsters, right? Like, even if they don't perform to your expectations, it's okay. But these are the series where they slowly transition, and then you can play in them in bigger tournaments like the Asia Cup and the Champions Trophy, T20 World Cup and World Cup and so on. But these are the series where they start, and then you transition them. This is the transition phase for Indian cricket, so it's going to be exciting, but also you never know what's going to happen. It's not going to be a comfortable win. You can't really predict. Before, when Sri Lanka or West Indies used to come to town, you would predict a whitewash and it would normally happen. But here, it won't. I don't think a clean sweep will be that easy. And West Indies have shown, even the likes of Powell, Puran, they have a lot of backup. It's not just all about Russell, Pollard, and Bravo. They have a lot of backup, and they're going to cause some problems for this Indian team. So whatever side that does play, whichever Indian 11 does play, they'll have to be smart. And again, the template. How do they change? How do they play aggressive cricket? Because India normally play the first 5 overs, they rotate the strike, single, double, and try to keep wickets in hand and accelerate at the end. But you've seen England and West Indies tear that apart, and it's more effective when you hit from ball one. It's risky as well. They lose a lot of matches like that, but that's how you win tournaments as well. So it's interesting to see what template India play with the T20 World Cup coming up in October. I think this series will be important against West Indies. How Rohit Sharma leads his side, what kind of cricket they play, and who performs, who doesn't perform. It will be very interesting to see. So let's see how that goes, and we'll discuss that further as well as we get closer to the series. And plenty of cricket to look forward to today, and we'll get you some news in the night. Hopefully my co-host Abrar Aziz will be back. We'll be reviewing the PSL game and the under-19 second quarter final as well. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for joining me. Take care.